right, welcome back. We had a little problem there with the feed. Apologize for that. Turns out you can't mess around with that too much after you get it all set up and expect it to work the second time around. So hope you guys are with me. My name is Larry Fry. I'm with Professional Photographers of Idaho. Welcome to Friday Live on March the 11th. There's been a ton of stuff that's been gone on this month, and that's kind of the reason why the title of this live, what's your focus? And kind of excited to talk about that, but first of all, we have a couple of announcements as we normally do. First one is, and I apologize for reaching across here, I just redid this whole thing, and there we go. First of all, we're bringing in Lindsay Adler for a one-day PPA class. So a couple things about this. One, you get a PPA credit for attending this, and it's a pre-con class for all day. Lindsay talking about fashion. It's going to be amazing. Now, this is limited to 100 seats, so we can't when I'm not saying like you have to go out there and get it today, but you better hurry because they are filling up. We had great interest over the weekend, and we anticipate that to continue. We actually anticipate this to fill up. So don't wait. 100 seats are available. There's a lot of them been taken so far. Go on out to ppfidaho.com, check on that Lindsay link, and get registered for that. Second thing is attached to that is we have our convention right after. So we have all kinds of people: Christy Elias, Kay Eskridge, Lori Nordstrom, Marissa Lavoie, Michael Collins teaching a little Photoshop class, and Tom Cheswick on lighting, and who's not pictured on this slide is Phil White. Phil White will be doing a class on lighting also, so it will be very interesting to hear the gear side of the story from Tom and the technical side of the story from Phil. So if you don't understand lighting and you want to kind of get a little bit of the technical and a little bit of the how to do it from Phil, this is perfect. So make sure you register for that too. So once again, Lindsay Adler on the pre-con class, and then we have our convention. So let's go back to live here. Thank you. So what's your focus? Like I said, we've been busy here. So not here, all the board members and the people that are bringing this on. And it got me to thinking about, I know in my own day, I go from list to list to list, and especially the people out there that are trying to either work while they're doing a job in photography as a side hustle, or those people that are professional photographers that have a lot of other things going on. There's a ton of that. And then lastly, just if you're just a professional photographer, part of this deal is to give back to the community. You want to teach people what you know. There's no need to hold back information. As a matter of fact, that's detrimental to the craft. So what's your focus? I mean, are you going to teach? Are you going to read that book? And by reading a book, I mean about technique. Are you going to read a book about business? Are you going to, do a model shoot? Do you have a client that's coming in? Actually, do you have two clients that you got to shoot? What's your focus there? So are you, one client, maybe you're shooting outside. Next client, you're shooting in the studio. In the meantime, there comes a new, I just saw the other day, Godox has a new LED flexible panel, and probably gonna have to get one of those. It's a 2 foot by 2 foot panel. I'm gonna digress here a little bit. 2 foot by 2 foot flexible panel. You can roll it up in a circle, or a roll. You can curve it, bend it around stuff if you're doing product photography. This thing's gonna have a lot of uses. It's portable, kind of. It has a Bluetooth. There's a Bluetooth control, and then there's of course a battery pack that hangs on this thing is meant to go on a tripod or a light stand, and the battery pack hangs there, because it's something ridiculous. It's like I think it's a 5.5 volt at 45 amp battery pack. So it's a pretty hefty battery pack. Point is, that's one of the things that you're, hey, I'm doing this product photography and I need a wraparound light and I'm going to try this Godox thing. And so now what's your focus? So I want to talk about one single focus that we should all do. And it ties right in with our convention, and it ties right in with tomorrow's event, which is the image critique. So I've talked a lot about just go out and shoot. Just do it. Just get yourself some models and go out and shoot. And there's been discussion after discussion after discussion. But to tell you the truth, if you aren't pushing that envelope and pushing new things, you'll never learn. And what's the best way to do that? Well, the best way to do that is shoot, and shoot a lot. So what's the best camera that you have? The one you're carrying with you. There's a lot of people that, I need this, I need this lens. I saw Joel Grimes do the shoot and he used this lens and this modifier and this light. I'm going to buy all that stuff and I'm going to go out there and shoot it. Probably the worst thing you can do. It's not a bad thing, but it's just not the best thing you can do. The best thing you can do is go out and make your existing stuff work. Do you need gear? Absolutely. I mean, you can't you can't artificially light somebody without the gear to artificially light somebody. Does that make sense? So, and reflectors are a piece of gear, right? So to artificially light somebody, if you want to, you can, I don't know, get a reflector and get your friend to hold it. Or you can get a flash and figure that out. And all these things make you grow. And then, of course, once you do that, all these things make you grow. So once you do that, you're figuring out light placement, you're figuring out shadows, you're figuring out backgrounds, you're figuring out f-stops and your maximum sync speed on your camera, all this stuff, okay? So all of that is your focus. But you started out with, I'm going to go take some pictures. I'm going to go create some images. I'm going to be better. Now, where does this come in with convention? Well, we just happen to have a little competition going on, okay? So in April, you can submit images to PPI of Idaho. We have a panel of judges, and I don't think I have their slide up. Dang it. You can go on the website though and see that. We have a panel of judges that will take a look at those and critique them as professionals. So listen, if you wear your heart out on your sleeve, you got to step off of that sometime and you got to step into the arena. But if you're pretty sensitive, it's art. We all get it. It's all subjective. What you like and what your clients like may not get to what the judges like, and they're judging off the 12 merits, which we spoke about ad nauseum, so I won't do it here. But there's 12 items in a list that have to kind of check boxes in the judge's mind to make that thing score well. Don't be afraid of that. Embrace it and go after it. Now, so you're going to say, well, yeah, but Larry, I sell, because I've said it before too, I sell a lot of stuff, and I don't, what do I need a competition for? Well, I can tell you right now that the stuff you sell will be that much better after the competition, and you really should look into it and enter. I mean, it takes nothing. We're going to have we're going to have an image competition, not a print competition. So there will be a day when we go back to prints. Hopefully it'll be a hybrid, because I think that opens the door to so many more people. Prints are expensive. Putting a case together is expensive. Shipping the case is expensive. We get all that, and we're trying to do some digital stuff here to alleviate some of that stuff. But prints are really where it's at. I mean, that's where the judges actually can look at your work without having monitor calibration issues or lighting in the room issues. Now, I will say they have been trained to mitigate all that stuff. So they all look at the same monitor calibration. They all look with the same ambient light, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So they have been trained to look at images on digital from a juror's point of view, and they're all in sync. But prints, of course, are, I guess that's the gold standard. And if you've ever been to a print competition, and you may not be able to see what the judges are seeing if you're way back in the room, but if you wait till the end, they usually put them out so people can see them. They're incredible. I mean, those prints, or some of those prints, you can see into them about 7 layers. So once again, to get there, you got to start somewhere, right? And what's this have to do with your focus? Well, your focus should be on the craft. That's my whole point of this entire thing. Sometimes your focus is going to be business. That's probably the toughest one to learn, and the toughest one of that is pricing. The next one on that is selling, and the next one on that is marketing, and that all, you have those 3 all wrapped up, and if you got an A in those, you're going to do well, regardless probably of how much you shoot. But the first and foremost is you have to have inventory, and inventory is photography. So this image competition we have coming up is, first of all, it's the convention is on the 7th, 8th, 9th, and Lindsay's coming in on the 6th. I believe I'm doing this from road. Sorry if those dates are wrong. Go to ppofIdaho.com, hop into the events page, go out there, you can see when it is. We'll have a image competition deadline. You basically go out to printcompetition.com, make yourself an account, and you put the images in there for our event, which I believe is already out there. So you can shoot, well, you can choose all the events if you want to, but you probably don't want to. You want to go to Idaho's, right? Because like people, right? So there's categories this year for fairly new photographers, and there's categories this year for fairly seasoned photographers, and then there's category for very seasoned photographers. And so what we tried to do there was, if you're an extremely seasoned photographer, you're not going up against somebody that's never married before in their life, or doesn't even know, this is the first time they've ever entered. We don't want people to think, oh my God, I'm going to be up against Michael Collins, for example. So not to worry. We have categories for that now. And in addition to that, we have categories, I forget all of them. There's a ton, babies, pets, portraits, landscape, you name it, weddings, seniors, there's all kinds of stuff. So if you're a landscape photographer, shoot, enter your landscapes. You don't have to be a portrait photographer to do this. And guess what, guys? Landscape photographer, I don't think you can light that with a flash. So good luck with that, right? So anyway, I think that was a message from Jen, who's probably seeing my botched attempt at YouTube. So hopefully she got back on. Come on out, go shoot. So you got plenty of time. Drag your images in, go to Lightroom, or whatever you bring them in on. It could be Luminar, could be Corel, as far as that goes, doesn't matter. Go out. We have those 12 merits of imaging. We have those out on the website. Take a look at those. Make sure your image kind of follows those guidelines, and then see how you do. So what's this going to do for you? Well, it'll do a lot for you, because if you just go out, I'm going to go out this weekend. If you're going to go out this weekend or next weekend, but you probably better do it then, because that's getting really close to convention. You're going to come into different scenarios. Lighting's going to be different. Light and shadows are going to be different. Maybe you're doing some photojournalism, and there's not a lot of photojournalism to shoot. And I'm dead serious. Maybe sometimes you just walk around, there's nothing there. Maybe you're going to go out with a group, and the group has a bunch of people in it, and you kind of got to wait your turn, all that kind of stuff. In the meantime, there's clouds, there's sun, there's shade, there's whatever. All that is your focus. It's your focus on photography, which is your inventory, which is what you have to sell. Now, you may not go out and take a picture of the Capitol building and sell it. That probably isn't going to happen. It might, but probably not. So if you're taking a picture of the Capitol building, what your focus is on that is technique, right? I've got this great big landscape, this grandiose thing. I've got all kinds of stuff going on, so I need to make that as good as it can look within these 12 elements for this competition. And I guarantee you, if you keep doing that, you're going to see at some point in time, you're going to go out and say, gosh, this model looks pretty good up against that bush, but why is that tree growing out of her head? You know, and then you'll reposition your model to get her from behind that tree with her tree growing out of her head. And that's composition, obviously, which is one of the 12 rules there. So again, your focus needs to be almost constantly on improving your craft and getting out there with the competition and to try and just improve yourself. So does that mean you can't do, I don't know, that you should stop doing marketing and sales and Facebook and all that stuff? No, not even close. You know, running a business isn't easy, and it flat out just is not. So if you are thinking you need to, I don't know, maybe do some marketing that day, you know, do some marketing that day. I would suggest, and I've done this with, you know, pretty good success, as I, you know, outline what I'm going to do that day. It derails and it goes off the charts sometimes, and sometimes I don't finish till late, and sometimes I finish early. So there's all of that to consider. So once again, what's your focus today? Today, hopefully it's business, or today, hopefully it's marketing. But what it should be every day is actually the product you put on the plate, and that's photography. So you can have all the sales, you can have all the marketing, you can do all that stuff. If you got crappy images, and you know, just put it that way, you know, you're going to be left behind, basically. So why do you have crappy images? Well, the best place to learn is a competition, because you'll see you'll see when you go through, when they start reviewing these images and they're going through them, and then you're going, oh yeah, that looks pretty good. And I told the story last week of mine, and I, you know, hadn't cracked it open and looked at it, and I went, oof, you know. And I think that all of us do that at some point in time. Like if I went back to, I think I shot my first wedding in 2005. If I went back to 2005 and I still have that wedding on CD, I don't even want to look at those. But I bet if I did, I would be horrified. So you can't improve unless you practice, and that's the name of the game. So the focus here, or what I'm trying to impart to you, is practice, practice, practice. Do you need special gear? I will answer that by saying gear helps you attain what you want to do. It helps with that endeavor. But I will also say that you probably, more than likely, have most of the gear that you need to get done what you need to get done. A lot of people I know go out and buy, they want to learn off-camera flash. It's the big thing. So they go out and buy a speed light. That's fine. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. There are better options, but there's nothing wrong with that. You know, second thing they do is they stick it on the top of their camera to make sure the thing works, but their real goal is to get it off the camera. So now, you know, the second thing they do is they got to figure out how to make the light talk to the camera, vice versa. That takes some time usually, because you're not used to channels and you're not used to interference, you're not used to distances. Heck, when you're out the first time and you set your light out there 30 feet away from you and it's pointed at your subject and you're taking a picture of them, sometimes you can't even see it. I mean, you don't know if it went off or not, right? I usually, you know, I look at them to start with to make sure that they're going off when I pull the trigger. But it's hard to tell until you get your shots back from your camera, or you're looking at the back of it. So I'm back in the slide days with the shots in the back, or the get your shots back. Used to take us 2 weeks to figure out if we did a good job or not. So, so what's your focus? Let's go out and shoot, huh? And make sure you go out to ppfidaho.com, hop on that link about the Lindsay Adler, and make sure you sign up for her. Going to be a great day. Limited to 100 people. Make sure they're Again, ppfidaho.com, you'll see an events tab. Well, right on the front page, you'll see a big thing about Lindsay. There's a click below that, there's registrations to click on. And up in the little events drop down, you can see Lindsay, and you can see the pre-con and convention. Click on that link, and that opens up the whole thing. So you can go, if you're not a member of PPI, you can go. If you're not a member of PPI and you want to go to Lindsay and the convention, you can do that. If you're not a member of PPI and you just want to go to convention, you can do that. And you can also do all three of those things if you're a member. Of course, the member price is much less. If you're a non-member of PPI and you want to go to convention or convention and Lindsay, convention has to be in there though. If you're a non-member and you buy one of those tickets, then you automatically get a membership for the next year. So that's $100 value right there. So, all right, guys, I am just about out of time again here today, and more stuff coming on this. I've actually got a list of things to talk about now instead of making them up, like 20 minutes beforehand. We'll have some guests in with us. I've got different audio coming for that situation, and trying to see, I will fix the chat so I can see you guys in the chat window. This recording will be up after this program's over. Once again, thanks for joining us. I know you guys have a lot of stuff to do. It's nice of you to take some time out and listen to us carry on about just professional photographers of Idaho and photography in general. If you have any suggestions on what you want to hear, we'd love to hear it. Type those in the comments on YouTube so we can see them. And we'll see you next Friday. Thanks for joining, guys.